Close your eyes. Imagine one thing, your favorite thing, a person, place, or thing. Think about it. Think about what it brings to you, the relationship it has brought to you, the life lessons it has taught you. Think about how much you enjoy everything about it. Now imagine it gone, stripped away from your hands. You're forced to be a spectator, looking from the outside in. You've been advised to stay away, and you can only watch. Now hold on to this feeling. Open your eyes. Hello everyone, my name is Erik Ponikvar. I'm the biggest Sabres fan you will ever meet, and proud to say that this is my 6th year as a member of the Appleby Blue Dog community. I'm excited to share a journey of mine with you that has had a huge impact on my life. So huge that it basically is my life. Before I get started, I want to preview 2 of the many lessons that I've learned throughout my journey with chronic pain. 1, perspectives, the positives. 2, there's always more to life. In 2017 and 2018, I started to struggle with chronic back pain. It was not an easy road to figure out what was causing this pain. I was diagnosed with a lot of things. Fortunately, I was not diagnosed with a choking disorder. We'll leave that up to the Maple Leafs in Game 7. Unfortunately, I was diagnosed with pars defect, known to the doctors as spondylolisthesis, or a spondy, if you want to be cool. Not that a spinal defect is super cool or anything. To simply explain my situation, it is a stress fracture at the back of the spinal column, in between 2 vertebrae. For me, it is my L4 and L5 vertebrae, resulting in slippage/sliding in between those 2 vertebrae. If you think about it, it's like pancakes stacked on top of each other, like your pancakes being your vertebrae. If you put maple syrup in between them, they will stay on top of each other. But if there's nothing in between them, they will gradually slide out of place, like in my case. This resulted in debilitating chronic pain, making a huge dent in my active teenage lifestyle. Remember when I had you close your eyes and you thought I was going to point out how bad your posture was through passive-aggressive suggestions on how to sit and breathe? And the emotion that you felt at the end of that? When your chosen place or thing was taken from you, that is exactly how I felt on April 7th, 2017, when seeing a specialist for my back. My back. Those 2 words. I hate them, but love them at the same time. It is something that I've said too often and talked about far too long. It is not common there's someone my age who has had the same experience as me. To be quite honest, I often find myself talking to people over 70 about their favorite back pain relieving stretches or exercises. Confused, they then ask if I'm their grandchild or something. Thankfully, my back is the only thing that seems to be aging with my grandparents. Okay, back to April 7th, 2017. I was seeing a specialist for pain that had been in my life for over a year now. This was the answer. Today I would find out how I could fix myself and get better. It was at a soon-to-be familiar McMaster Children's Hospital. I was being used as a case study for a group of students. After a lengthy appointment with the doctor analyzing everything about my body, the students were dismissed. I was left with my mom, sister, and close friend, Adam Dunn, who has played a huge role ever since this started and continues to do so. After explaining his thoughts and suggestions, I was optimistic to hear a promising solution. He started to wrap up his conclusions and said, if you want to live pain-free, you're going to have to stop playing hockey. I quickly responded with, oh, perfect. Hockey season is coming to an end. I can take a break over the summer and be back in September. Realizing I had not fully understood what he meant, he said, no, like forever. After hearing those words, forever, my stomach flipped upside down, my heart dropped, my body went numb. I sank into my mom's arms. I was crushed. From that moment on, the rest of that day was a blur. I was a mess. I faintly remember crying myself to sleep with the puck tightly gripped against my chest. Without any notice, what I thought was my life was taken away from me. The next 2.5 years were the most challenging times of my life. Crying to myself to sleep night after night, almost like a Leafs fan since 1967. Becoming more distant with friends because I could not do what they could, and most painfully, not being able to play sport and be active without the worry of 2 words, my back. Not only was I handling chronically debilitating pain and the mental struggle, but I was also wasn't able to do the only thing I ever wanted to do. Throughout my time, from the summer before grade 8 to halfway through grade 10, there were times I hated life. It seemed unfair. I felt that there was no way past this, and I was going to be stuck in this never-ending spiral of pain and heartbreak. At the age of 14, I didn't know who I was. I thought I was an athlete, a hockey player, but not anymore. Unlike any of my friends and most children my age, I was forced to mature in order to take care of myself and not let chronic pain consume my everyday, leaving all my favorite things behind. Sure, I could watch, but I couldn't take part. And let me tell you, that is not easy at any age, never mind a teenager full of energy and passion. Through many experiences at hospitals and other medical programs, I learned that there were so many other teens going through what I was. As I enrolled in a 10-week program at the McMaster Pediatric Pain Clinic, I had come to learn that I was not alone. I was not the only one going through this. After various workshops and group sessions, I learned that I was in fact very fortunate with my situation, and there were so many other children with more serious conditions relative to mine. From that point on, I started to live life with such a different mindset. I started living with gratitude for the things I could do, despite my limitations. I learned no matter what, it could always be worse. Like getting a 41 on your accounting test, it could have been a 31. Sure, I would wake up knowing that a day of pain is ahead and stress about what I was going to do that day and how it would affect my back and mental pain and the mental pain of everything I had to deal with. But what good would being negative do for me? Nothing. It would do absolutely nothing to better my situation and everyday struggles. Realizing the power of focusing on the positives and allowing for those to be what stand out in life instead of dwelling on the negatives. As humans, it is so easy to get fixated on the negative things in life. But once that habit is broken, it is so much more fun to live life with a never-ending positive energy. This mentality and thought process of feeding off of even the smallest of positives in the most difficult of situations has been so valuable to my life already. Like being told my spine has slipped a little further out of place, or seeing my friends leave class for a hockey game. But really, the joke was on them. They were the ones missing class. See, there's a positive, even in a tough situation. Whether it be in a group or as an individual, there's really no substitute for positivity. For example, in winter tomogamy, I was renting a pair of boots, and the outer part of my boot ended up suffering a very small tear. It was really not an issue until we hiked to another campsite, and there was a section of slush that hadn't quite frozen over. I stepped in it and went knee-high into a puddle of slush. Water leaked throughout the small hole in my boot, ultimately soaking my foot. I changed my socks and made sure my foot was okay, but it was certainly not comfortable by any measure. It was frustrating and irritating, but I thought to myself and realized that the negative thoughts swarming my head would do absolutely nothing to better my situation. At that moment, I switched to nothing but positive thoughts. It infectiously spread throughout the group, and my frozen soaked boot seemed like a minuscule problem. My second of many takeaways from my experiences with chronic pain is that there is always more to life. At the age of a young teenager, I thought my life was ripped up before my eyes, which to be fair, it was. Sports and an active lifestyle were my life at that time, and they were all I cared about. And sorry, Mr. Patterson, but it was more likely for the arrogant worms to go world famous than me caring about the grade 7 English. When sports were taken away from me, I really did think that without them, I was nothing, and my life was aimless. I had to find new ways to be able to use my outgoing and positive energy. I remember in grade 9, when I was looking for a winter co-curricular to do in replacement of hockey, discussing the entire list of arts and service co-curriculars with Mr. Patterson, I decided to join Community Living. Community Living, for those of you that don't know, is a program for adults with developmental disabilities to be able to live lives as a member of the active community. I can lead people without having to play a sport. Appleby played a huge role in developing that skill and drive in me. The Appleby community and culture was something that subconsciously turned me into an all-around leader. Before I applied to be athletics prefect, someone said to me, "You don't need to play on any varsity teams to be athletics prefect." When I heard that, I was motivated. Knowing that I could still lead athletes and people with like minds was so exciting. As most of you know, as much as I love sports, I'm no star-studded athlete. I knew it's probably more likely that I'll own the Sabres than play for the Sabres. So I knew I wouldn't be playing sports forever, and being able to transition my leadership skills from an athlete to leading athletes and peers has given me a newfound passion and happiness. Before I wrap this up, I want to thank absolutely everyone who supported me and or been there for me when I needed it the most. Without you, I would not be the person I am today. But most importantly, my mom, dad, siblings, Oma, Opa, and Baka and Dado. Thank you for everything. To conclude my journey, after a long time of struggling frustration from middle school and throughout half of my high school career, I stuck to a strict action plan, working my butt off to get closer and closer to my goal of being pain-free every single day. I got there. Yes, it's not 100% pain-free. I still have to diligently take care of myself and hold myself accountable to the standards that my body demands. Over 2 years after I was told I could never play hockey and most sports again, was over 2 years of hard work, positivity, dedication, and resilience. I was pain-free and made my way back to playing. I was so happy. I was so thankful for absolutely every opportunity I had to wake up, for every opportunity I had to wake up every morning and do what I love. In summary, I learned to never take your body and its ability for granted. It's a gift. Cherish it. Take care of it absolutely every day of your life. That being said, I wanted everyone listening today to realize that life will bring many ups and downs, maybe more ups than downs, or vice versa. Always know you are never alone, and it could be worse, but never forget that there is always a positive in absolutely every situation. It just takes the right mindset to find it. Also, there's always more to life. Push yourself to try something new every day. In the famous words of Tim McGraw, live like you're dying. Now please rise and sing him, Let Streams of Living Justice. There we go.